100,000 years ago, the sun sets. The landscape vanishes. Nightfall is not a transition, it is an activation. For the modern human, the dark is a vacuum. We fill it with screens. We fill it with light. We fill it with the false promise of safety. But for your ancestor, the dark was a predator. The campfire was not for comfort. It was a weapon. It was the perimeter, a ring of light defining the border between human and fuel. And inside that perimeter, the human brain did something that modern doctors now call a disorder. They didn't sleep 8 hours. They slept in waves. If this forensic look at why your brain won't shut off at 3 a.m. changed how you see your own exhaustion, hit that subscribe button. We open a new case file on human nature every single week. This is case file 018. We follow the evidence into the absolute dark. Let's get into the evidence. The official story of sleep is a lie. We are taught that a healthy human sleeps in a solid, uninterrupted block of 8 hours. We are told that anything less is a failure of lifestyle, a weakness of discipline, a problem to be medicated away. But forensic biology tells a different story. If you look at the records of pre-industrial societies, and if you look at the archaeological data from the Ice Age, you find something startling. The 8-hour block is a modern invention. It is the result of the Industrial Revolution and the widespread availability of artificial light. Before the factory clock, before the street lamp, before the bedside lamp, the human night looked nothing like this. Your ancestors did not sleep in one block. They slept in two. We call it segmented sleep. They had a first sleep, usually beginning an hour or two after dusk. They slept for a few hours. Then they woke up. They spent an hour or two in a state of quiet, meditative wakefulness. They might tend the fire. They might speak in whispers. They might watch the perimeter. Then they returned to their second sleep until dawn. This was not insomnia. This was not a disorder. It was a survival strategy. In the deep dark of the Pleistocene, sleeping for 8 hours straight was a death sentence. It left you vulnerable to every predator that moved in the shadow. It left you unable to monitor the changing conditions of the night. You woke up to audit your world. That gap between first and second sleep wasn't wasted time. It was a scheduled check-in with a hostile environment built directly into your biology. If you're starting to see your own restless nights not as a flaw, but as a survival feature, smash that like button. It helps this investigation reach more people who need to hear the truth. We don't need to dig up bones to find this evidence. It's still running inside you, right now, every night. Ask yourself, why do you wake up at 3 or 4 a.m., wide awake, heart steady but mind alert, for no reason you can name? Modern medicine calls this middle insomnia. It hands you a diagnosis and often a prescription. But look at the timing. 3 or 4 a.m. sits almost exactly where the gap between first and second sleep would have fallen for a body that went dark at sunset. You are not broken. You are on schedule. Your ancestors' brain built this checkpoint into the architecture of the night, and 10,000 years of electric light has not been enough to erase it. The body keeps a ledger the mind has forgotten how to read. And it isn't only the timing that matches. Watch what happens in the minutes after you wake in the night. The first instinct, before the mind even catches up, is to listen. You lie still. You scan the room. You check the door, the window, the shape in the corner that might just be a chair. This is not paranoia. This is the perimeter check, performed on a body that no longer has a perimeter to check. The tribe is gone. The predator is gone. The instruction set remains, running on hardware that has nothing left to defend. The human brain is a forensic record of ancient threat. Why do you wake up panting from a nightmare about falling or being chased? It isn't just stress, it is a biological alarm system. In the absolute dark of the Ice Age, an ancestor who slept through a predator's approach did not pass on their genes. Your nightmare is not a glitch. It is a simulation, a dry run. You are rehearsing the defense of the perimeter while your muscles are paralyzed. Consider the content of these dreams. Falling from a height, being pursued by something with teeth, losing your footing in the dark. These are not random. These are the 3 most common ways a Pleistocene human died in the night. A fall from a ledge while fleeing, a predator closing the distance, a misstep in unfamiliar terrain. Your dreaming brain is still running training scenarios for threats that vanished 10 millennia ago. Every time you feel that surge of panic in the dark, you are experiencing the ghost of an ancestor who had to stay sharp to keep the tribe alive. You are not a calm animal living in safety. You are a survival machine built by the apocalypse, waiting for the next one. Drop a comment below. What is the one nightmare you've had that feels more like a memory than a dream? I read every one. Consider the campfire. It was the most important technology ever developed by human beings. It gave us light, yes. It provided heat, certainly. But its true function was psychological. It created a bubble of reality. Outside the circle of firelight, the world was chaotic, unpredictable, and lethal. Inside the circle, humans were able to perform the most critical function of our development: social cohesion. In the dark, you cannot maintain a social hierarchy. You cannot see the expressions of your rivals. You cannot see the signals of your kin. But around the fire, the night becomes a theater. This is where we developed the ability to tell stories. This is where we developed the ability to lie. This is where we developed the ability to plan. Anthropologists who have studied surviving hunter-gatherer groups note something the daylight hours never produce. After dark, conversation changes shape entirely. The gossip of the day, the arguments over resources, the transactional talk of who owes what to whom, all of it fades once the fire is lit. What replaces it is myth, origin stories, cautionary tales, the rules of the tribe, encoded in narrative so they could survive being passed mouth to mouth for 100 generations. The fire was not just a courtroom, it was a library with no books, and the fire was the only light by which anyone could read it. The firelight turned the night from a time of terror into a time of construction. We didn't just survive the night. We used the night to sharpen the tools that would eventually conquer the day. If this investigation into our hidden instincts keeps you up at night, hit that subscribe button. We open a new case file on human nature every single week. But we have a problem. The modern human has discarded the campfire. We have replaced the perimeter of fire with the harsh glare of LEDs. We have replaced the rhythmic, segmented sleep of our ancestors with a chaotic, light-polluted existence. We force our brains to shut down when they are screaming to stay alert. We force our brains to remain awake when they are screaming to conserve energy. We are living in a forensic mismatch. Think about what a single smartphone screen does to a brain built for firelight. Firelight is warm, dim, and flickers below a threshold that told the ancient brain, the perimeter is secure, you may rest. A phone screen is cool, bright, and delivers a threat signal disguised as a notification. A ping in the dark that once would have meant a snapped twig outside the circle. Your body doesn't know the difference between a text message and a warning. It responds to both the same way. Alert, cortisol, wakefulness. We are ancient machines trying to operate in a future that our biology does not understand. The insomnia you feel, the anxiety you feel when you are left alone in the dark, it is not a sign that you are failing. It is a sign that your biology is working exactly as it was designed. You are built to wake up. You are built to scan. You are built to defend. You exist because your ancestors refused to simply close their eyes and hope for the best. They stayed awake. They audited the perimeter. They survived. And now you are left with the instincts of a guard who has been told that the danger is gone, even though every bone in your body tells you the predator is still there, waiting in the absolute dark. We're just scratching the surface of how ancient behavior dictates modern stress. Subscribe to the channel. You're already part of the audit. The investigation into your instincts never truly closes. There is no final report because the evidence is still being written every night, in your own bedroom, in your own restless 3 a.m. eyes. The case stays open because you are the case. If this file got under your skin, let me know in the comments. Are you the one who could have held the watch? Subscribe, stay on the case, and I'll see you in the evidence room next week.